South Africa is not living up to the principles it was founded on. That's the view of acting U.S. Ambassador Todd Haskell. The United States mission to South Africa's Public Affairs Office hosted a briefing on the Russian aggression in Ukraine with Ukrainian Ambassador Lyubov Abravitova. Govan Whittles is following the story for us. He joins us now live from Pretoria. So pretty strong words from the acting U.S. Ambassador to South Africa, Govan.
Strong words indeed, and he was flanked by the Ukrainian ambassador, and the purpose of this briefing is just to relay their position on the Ukraine-Russia conflict and also to tell African countries and South Africa that their voice matters, what they do during this conflict matters, and of course the U.S. would like it to do certain things that it believes will help the situation in Ukraine. Let's speak to the acting ambassador for the United States in South Africa, Mr. Todd Haskell. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Haskell. So you've said you want South Africa to name the oppressor, name the aggressor. What do you mean by that?
Well, first, just let me say that there's a lot that we agree with on South Africa on this issue. And primarily, I think both our countries are seeking a peaceful resolution to this crisis, an end to the conflict, and an ability to have a dialogue that will reach a result. Where we don't agree, and we're constantly in dialogue with the South Africans on these issues, where we share our point of view and they share ours, is I'll go back to the words of Desmond Tutu that inspired me as a young man. When he said that in a battle between the oppressor and the oppressed, having a neutral stance was actually taking the side of the oppressor. We think it's really important when we look at this unprovoked aggression, this attack against democracy, Russia's war against Ukraine, Putin's war on Ukraine. It's important to say this is wrong, and we need to take a strong stance against it. So let's call it for what it is. Russia is the aggressor here.
And that's, of course, what you want South Africa to say. There's been much speculation about what South Africa's official policy is, especially after the statement by the Department of International Relations calling on Russia to withdraw its troops from Ukraine and respect the United Nations Charter. Since then, our president and our ambassador at the UN also yesterday articulated a view which encourages dialogue. And in the criticism of the resolution, South Africa said that the resolution could drive a further wedge between Russia and the Ukraine. They wanted more emphasis on dialogue. From the United States point of view, what do you believe South Africa's official position is? Because you said you still take the Durko statement.
Well, we do see the Durko statement. I haven't seen it reversed. I heard the Durko spokesperson, I believe it was yesterday on the radio, reaffirming that was the position of South Africa. So we'll take that at its word. The main thing is that we seek to talk to our South African friends about how we can move forward as partners in an effort to resolve this terrible situation.
Right, and as the Assistant Secretary was saying that she believes African voices are important and that many countries could find their own ways of acting according or responding to the Ukraine-Russia conflict. What is the United States asking South Africa to do beyond naming Russia as the aggressor?
Well, I think, as the Assistant Secretary said, countries get to decide what's the actions they take. But I do believe, as somebody who has, been following events in South Africa since I was a university student, I won't tell you how long ago that was, but it was quite a ways ago, that South Africa occupies a special moral position in the world. I mean, South Africa's struggle for freedom inspired people all around the world. So when South Africa speaks, it carries a special weight. Africa carries a bigger weight than it's ever carried before in international politics. In some ways, I think this will be the century of Africa. And South Africa occupies a particularly special place in that, just because for so many people it has come to represent a moral voice. And I respect that, and lots of people respect it. So that's what I think we're looking at countries across the world doing, and particularly in South Africa, is to make the case for human rights, for morality in this situation. My country is far from perfect, and we clearly have made mistakes. But we're urging our friends in South Africa to show the way, as they have so often in the past.
All right, thank you so much. That's Acting Ambassador Todd Haskell here at the U.S. Embassy in Tshwane. It's back to you for now, but I can tell you that the U.S. Embassy staff say that the lobbying with the South African government officials continues on that position of naming Russia as the aggressor. In terms of our official policy so far, that's not what South Africa has said. It's back to you.
All right, we're going to leave it right there. Govan Whittles is in Pretoria.